Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the whiteboard. Let's get over. I'm really tired, so apologise. Right, so I'm going to talk about Southampton first. We'll talk about Newcastle second. But first of all, you might have seen the social media posters that we're interviewing Hugo Viana next week, the ex-Newcastle midfielder. So if you want a question fired at him, jump over to our Facebook page and our Twitter pages. They're both pinned posts, and just literally comment or reply on there, and we'll pick the best ones as well. So keep an eye out for Hugo Viana coming on the channel as well. Of course, it's a home game. Thank God. It feels like I've been ages since I've been at St James's. So obviously we'll be doing the fan cams as per usual. It's a usual place, so if you know where to find us, me and the backroom team will be there interviewing you guys. So come along, win, lose or draw. We want to know what you think as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with Southampton since they're the away side. I've gone for a change here because I think it could be Buffal, but I'm going to change my mind at the last minute. I'm going to go for Ward-Prowse. I think it'll be McCarthy, who's keeping Fraser Forrest out the first 11. Cedric Suarez, Stevens, Hoyt, Bertrand, Lamina, who's impressed this season, Ramau, Ward-Prowse, Tadic, Redmond, and Krillo. Now, Southampton, they need wins, very similar to us. So, but I think they'll play on the counter. I think a point is much better for them than it is for us, clearly, because they're the away side. So, I think we're going to ask probably DeAndre Yedlin, pace for pace. I think he can match him. But Redmond doesn't like to go down there. He's not that type. So Redmond will come over to this kind of area. So that's Yedlin's going to have to be careful on his left side, watching where he's going, and that's going to be Jamal Lascelles' position, because if you've got Yedlin there and you've got Jamal Lascelles there, I think you're also going to probably ask who's playing in front of Lascelles, maybe Diarmi. Just keep an eye out for him, because Redmond will come in, which will allow Bertrand. Bertrand is not really a left back, really. He's more of a wing back. It's very rare you see him so far defensively, so I expect him to do the overlapping runs. On the other side, I expect exactly the same if I just switch the other way. I think Cedric Suarez will do the same as well, which will allow Ward-Prowse to come a little bit inbound and play more of a centre midfield role. I think Tadic, he's more the playmaker, and for me, he hasn't really progressed this season. Me and Sean were talking the other night, and I have to agree with what Sean said. I just don't think he's gone up a level for me. But I think Tadic would be trying to pick the ball off Lamina and Ramau and just spreading it and moving around. I don't think he'd be there all the time. I think it's more of a false 10, if you want to call it that, the 4-2-3-1. That's the formation. And I think, as I say, I think Ward-Prowse will come a little bit inside so he can play in more of a centre midfield role. Now, Krillo needs service, big guy up top. He's not going to go past 2 or 3 players and bend one top corner. He's not that type of player. He's very type of hustler where he'll want the ball, headers, chest, hold the ball up, bring in the midfield as well. Now, I think these two, Stevens and Hoyt. Now, I know Southampton have scored not many, but they've conceded the same amount of goals as what Arsenal had this season, 41. But I think these are the target men. I think we can get through there. And I think someone nippy, you're probably going to have a guess who I'm predicting here. Someone to play up top who's nippy, who can literally run the channels, work hard for the team, and hopefully we have a number 10 who can feed off that as well, because I think Rafa will play in the number 10. I think will be Perez, but I just think Perez needs a goal again. He hasn't scored many. He needs to come back into form as well. McCarthy, as a touch upon, who's keeping Fraser Forrest out the side. He'll be disappointed that he's not back at St James's Park. Obviously, he was 4th choice goalkeeper behind the likes of Shea Given, Stephen Harper, and Tim Cole when he's at St James's Park. So McCarthy, he's outside chance, the ugly inside, who came on earlier on this week, they were saying that he's got an outside chance of possibly being 3rd choice England goalkeeper for the World Cup. Well, we'll have to say, let's test him. But all in all, I mean, you'll probably see Gabby D come on later on. Shane Long might play out wide later on if they need a goal, but they're not scoring many goals, and I don't think there's much to be worried about. Me personally, I think they're looking for any sort of game, any sort of goal, whether it's a scrap, a set piece, but they're not like brilliant at the moment. Southampton, Newcastle, although we're not brilliant going forward, we've got to take advantage, and I think Newcastle have to attack this game. You might say the must-win games, us and Huddersfield next. Newcastle, for me, you've got to go out all guns blazing. You need the crowd behind them. I'm talking about Newcastle. Why don't we get out of there? Right, so the first thing you're going to notice, we have colour, and we've got Martin Dubravka has finally been made, and we've also got Slimani, and we've also got Kennedy made as well, which is great. So thank you very much, Martin. Finally, we got them done. But as you probably guessed there, since I've got Kennedy down there, I haven't got him in the starting lineup. And for me, I think it's just about time that we take him out the firing line just a little bit and maybe bring him back in the next home game. I think the reason being, I just think Kennedy, has been off the boil the last couple of games, and I think it'll be nice just to freshen up and just make a little statement saying, look, you're not first choice all the time. You've got to, even though you're on loan, you've got to improve. You've got to be up there week in, week out. And it sounds like I'm picking on him, but I think sometimes you've got to show a statement. And obviously we haven't gone for Jacob Murphy, who again probably a little bit lucky, but be out the side to start the turn of the new year. But Richie is Rafa's go-to man, and obviously Richie was rested just before obviously when Murphy come in last game out. But I think this is the lineup. I think it'll be Dubravka, and then Yedlin, Lascelles, Lejeune. Dummett back five picked itself, as I've touched upon for quite a while now. I think Diarmé will play if Shelvey makes it. Shelvey starts for me if he does fully fit. If not, I think it'll be Mikel Merino straight for like. Although Mikel Merino was very poor against Liverpool, probably up there against Huddersfield. His worst performances of the season. I think Shelvey will start if he is fit. Perez in the 10, Richie right, Atsu left, Gale up top. Now we'll start with Dwight Gale, because I've touched upon already for Southampton centre backs. Getting him running in between the channels will stretch their defence, and I think it's important that Jose Perez, as I said just before, start scoring some goals. You know, let's get you. I know you worked hard and all that, but we say this all the time now. Let's try and get you forward, Perez. Let's see you move. Let's see you support Dwight Gale. But I know it's difficult playing in this system that Rafa plays because he'd like to be very compact. But forget about that for me. I think you've got to go and attack now, and it's almost play Perez as your striker. You could say that maybe two up top, but for me, Perez has got to be clever when, you know, the balls are clipped through off Shelvey and that. Let's just say Perez. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Let's not just say Gale move. Let's say Perez move as well, because we know that if Shelvey starts, we know what he's capable of doing. We'll see it week in, week out. And although Diarmé's been pretty poor the last two games as well, I think for me, I think he's had a much better turn in the year. I think I'd rather have Diarmé than Isaac Hayden doing the dirty work for me. And I know, asked me that at the start of the season, I would have laughed at you. But for me, Hayden, I think, struggled a little bit. And then Matt Ritchie, no, he was rested against Liverpool. He was on the bench, didn't see any action at all. For me, he comes straight back in. I think Rafa, just give him a rest. Look, you're having a rest from this one. And I think Matt Ritchie will come in, because he will just, as we know, Matt Ritchie will be all over the place. He'll be up and down that wing. And also, as I'm saying that, since I'm touching on that wing as well, DeAndre Yedlin, I think this is the time where Yedlin, just go and get yourself forward. But just be careful of the cover, of course, because what you want is on the Liverpool Southampton's left flank. Obviously Yedlin's going to be looking after Redmond coming the other way, but then again you want Yedlin getting down that wing, because Nathan Redmond does not want to be tracking back, and if Yedlin can get forward and will get the ball, keep the ball for a long time as well, keep possession, and it's got to be important, because I thought in midfield in particular, I know this was Diarmé and that was, you know, that wasn't Shelvey, that was Merino. I thought those two against Liverpool were really sloppy, especially Merino was just giving the ball away. And I think you've got to have Newcastle need to dominate possession and take. Rafa said in his press conference earlier on that, you know, you've got to take your chances, and for me, I think Dwight Gale is the best finisher at the club. It's disappointing that we don't have Slimani, but we've just got to make do with it. There's now we can do. Forget about it. You know, I've got no qualms with Dummett at left back. I think he's been absolutely brilliant, him and Lascelles for me. Possibly since the turn of the year, or player of the season since the turn of the year. Diarmé might be in the shout as well, but he's dropped a little bit. But Dubravka, I've got no qualms of him. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be fairly quiet. 1 or 2 shots here and there, just got to stop Southampton's chances. And I think these two are blossoming. Yesterday were, I don't think they would fall for the Liverpool game. I think it was the two midfielders I touched upon. In Kennedy, the reason why I've gone for Atsu is, obviously I've touched upon Kennedy, but I think for me, Atsu, you know, I think you can get, because Cedric Suarez is very clever, and I think Atsu against Suarez will be much better than Kennedy, because Kennedy, I just don't know, I think he's a floater, and whereas Atsu is old school, he'd rather run. And then if it doesn't work, change it, mix it up. You know, you've got the likes of Hoslu. I know you might go, oh, Hoslu, but go to the top. And I think it's important that Rafa gets his substitutions right, because against Bournemouth he was criticised, and I thought he deserved that criticism. So if he does change it, you know, if we're all winning, let's see Hoslu come on for Gale. Let's not say a midfielder play up top. If we're losing, let's go 2 up top. Let's try and go for the juggler. Let's see something, not like for like. I know we're going to try and attack this game, and you've got to be careful, be wary of what's coming behind you as well. But all in all, I am confident, and I think Newcastle will win this one. And it's not often I've said this season, I've already said 2-0 this season. That's what I'm going to go for as well. Remember, we've got a BetSafe promotion partners as well, so if you want to have a bet on there, the link's in the description. You know, I've got 35 quid sitting in the bank from last week and the week before, so I've won 2 weeks running. So I might chuck on, I'm actually going to chuck on Jamal Lascelles to get in the England side. That's what I'm going to chuck on this weekend too, and I'm going to have a double bet this week. But let me know what your lineups will be. Let me know your predictions in the comments down there below. I'm off to bed. See you later. Ta-ra. Bye bye.